We've also got a notebook up here, right? So if you are in a team that's constantly having meetings, you can have a shared OneNote that is right there stored inside of the environment, so that you don't have to worry about, all right, Ryan created a OneNote, but where did he create it? I don't know. For whatever reason, I have a horrible time remembering where OneNotes are. Like, I can never find them after I create them. So this is nice. It's just right there in the group, and as you're having meetings with each other, you can put it in here, or if you're all on a conference call with some other people and you're taking the notes, just like in Word, you're gonna see them all starting to show up in there at one time. So it just makes it easy for you guys to find everything in one place. And if you want, you can always click edit if you want to actually edit in the full OneNote client right there. All right, so let's go see if our friend has uploaded the file. Oh, it has, nice. So now you can see, by default, I've got anyone can edit. I could also change this. I could change the permissions. I could attach it as a copy, so the old way of doing attachments, or I could just get the link in OneDrive and send that off. So we'll just leave this as is. Now I'm sending this to the group itself, but let's also send it to me. And right now, maybe just Death, who is available if anybody needs him. And we'll click send, just because I want you to see what it looks like when we do it. All right, so it's already here. Right, now, if you look, just glance quickly, it looks normal, except you've got the cloud overlay, and the cloud overlay essentially means this is stored on OneDrive. So, just as you would expect, you should be able to open this up, and then PowerPoint is going to render the same presentation that I'm showing you right now, right, all within the web application, animations and everything, off we go. And if we come back, all right, and remember, I emailed that to the group itself. All right, so here's the email, the download link right there, and let's see if it auto-copied or not. No, it's not there yet. But you could also then pop this into OneDrive and it would be in the group itself, right from the email that you sent it. So that's just a quick kind of overview of groups. There's other stuff that they could do, but just kind of gives you the idea of some of the work that we've been doing. And groups are not available on premises, unfortunately. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes connecting work to make those happen, and that's kind of an Office 365 feature only. But if you are in a hybrid mode with users on-prem and in the cloud, they can be a member of a group, but it will act more like a traditional distribution group to them. Look at the mails and such. The calendar, they have to go open manually. They don't get this UI that's right here. But you can do the file attachments on-prem. So if you want to do the document collaboration and have attachments stored in OneDrive for Business on premises, you absolutely can do that. We have those steps out there. They were just published a handful of months ago. It wasn't too long. We finally got the documents out on how to set this up for Exchange in SharePoint 2016. All right, so pop back in here. Survey says. All right. You never know what's going to happen. All right, let's see. Let's go down to improve search for Outlook. So one of the things that 2016 does, if you've got Outlook 2016, so Outlook 2016 plus Exchange 16, we had a lot of feedback from customers that said, hey, I'm searching for stuff, but I'm only getting a handful of results back. What's up with that? I know I've got like 100 messages that should come back from this search, and I see 4. Well, those 4 were the 4 messages that were in the local OST file in that client, because now we have that new sync slider that says, hey, keep a month's worth of mail, keep 6 months worth of mail, give me everything. Well, if you've got that trimmed down, the Windows index can only search against what's on that local machine. So you get those first 4 messages, and then there'd be a little link there that says, hey, there might be more on the server. Click, and then we go to a server-side search, and you'd see everything, and then you'd open up the message, and it would either open from your local OST file or the server, depending on where it was. So we changed this up, and now the default behavior is we do a server-side search first. Give you the whole list of stuff that's on the server, so that you don't have to go through that, hey, like here's 4, where are the other 96? Oh, I have to click this other thing? Well, thanks, that's helpful, to find the other messages. We just search the server by default and then give you back everything. If for some reason that search takes too long, or if you're offline and we can't search the server, we'll do a local search and show you the results that are in your local OST file and available. So Exchange Online. Right, we've talked a lot about things that came from on-prem over the years. One of the things that's sometimes difficult to appreciate might be the right word, we'll see, I might correct myself as I talk here, is that when you're on Exchange Online, you're paying for a service. You're not just paying us to do all the server work, right? You get all that time back. So all that time that you spend planning for an Exchange upgrade, going through an Exchange upgrade, all that time is back for you to do something else. Go and work on your business's core missions, or go work on some other IT project that excites you more. All right, you get all that time back. A lot of us, we don't focus just on Exchange, right? We wear a lot of different hats in the environment. So this means every 3, 4, or 5 years, the last few years I've been working on something else. Well, now there's a new version of Exchange. Well, we're not going to go hire an Exchange guy, or maybe we don't want to go hire a partner. So I have to go and learn Exchange again. Get it set up, done, deployed, okay, I forget about it for 3, 4, 5 years. Right, so that cycle goes away. You get time back to focus on what you want to do. We'll handle all the nasty back-end infrastructure stuff. On top of that, you're paying us for a service. So we're also going to give you something more. Right? So there's always going to be these little features that are only in the cloud. They're not going to come to on-premises. And a lot of times it's because it's very hard to package this stuff and put it in a little executable that's going to install on a server. If we go down the list here and just jump right to like Delve or Delve Analytics, right? That's something that is constantly being tweaked in the back end with machine learning and such, that it's not something we can just kind of zip up and send you guys and sell it to you. And I'm sure marketing would love to, sales would love to sell it to you, but it's just not something that's feasible. You're not going to get the same experience. So when there are features that make sense to ship to on-prem, we'll absolutely do it. Right? Read from passive, huge one. We ship that to on-prem. There's other stuff that we're going to ship to on-prem. There's always going to be stuff that you're paying us to get in the service, so that you can also show your business, here's what we're getting out of it. It's not that we've got rid of all the hardware, we got rid of a bunch of racks of servers that we don't need to replace every few years now. We're also getting extra things. Right? Focused inbox. Right? Do you remember Clutter a while back? Clutter did an attempt at trying to kind of get rid of junk that you're probably not going to look at. Focus inbox is kind of the reverse of that. It's the stuff that you should be most interested in looking at. All right, so it's going to be full of things that I am constantly responding to. So if I've got like 100% response rate to my boss, which I don't really, right? It's going to throw all of his emails into my focus inbox. So that if that stuff is there, it's probably important to me. The back-end analytics have looked at my patterns and seen what I respond to quickly, what I respond to all the time, and what I ignore. And it elevates those into my focused inbox view to help me be more productive and get through that stuff really quick, so I can then go back and work on other things instead of searching through thousands of pieces of mail that come in every day. 0-day auto purge. So if you're an Exchange Online customer, you're also an Exchange Online Protection customer. So 0-day auto purge is kind of a go back in time and kill things. So if we let a bunch of attachments through, and we can detonate those essentially in a virtual machine and see what happens. So an attachment comes in, we scan it. If we get the advanced threat protection, we toss it into like what looks like a virtual machine. We let that file do what it's going to do, and then kind of monitor the system. If we see that that attachment did some really bad things, we know that's probably something you don't want in your mailbox. Great, so we can update our heuristics and our definitions, and we can block those attachments from coming in. Well, what if 4 million of those already came in yesterday? Now we can go back with the identifying thumbprint of that attachment or that file, that attachment type, and go back in time and zap them out of all the mailboxes so that you guys are safe. All right, and let you know that we did that, so we're not just randomly pulling mail out, but there was a reason that we went and blocked that attachment from being opened. All right, something that is not available in the on-premises world. The REST APIs, obviously there's a heavy amount of work going into REST now in the service across all the different workloads to give you guys kind of one programming API to focus on for interacting with data that's stored in Office 365. So that having to go and learn 12 different ways for SharePoint and learn AWS for Exchange and all these other things, give you one interface to kind of do anything that you want to. Delve we talked a little bit about. Right, not just helping for focused inbox, the analytics stuff, but also going and helping you learn like what people are working on, right? Being able to say, hey, I got this email from Brian, and he's asking this question, what does Brian work on? I can click on, my Delve profile. I could click on that person's Delve profile and see what groups they're in, what they're working on, if I have access to see it, of course. If I won't have access to see a restricted group or a closed project that they're working on, but just kind of get an idea. Or if I'm working on something and want to find somebody with common interests, or somebody that maybe they're working on a similar project, I can bounce into Delve and start searching around for keywords to look for similar things, so we don't have 4 groups trying to work on the same thing, which happens all the time at Microsoft. We talked about groups a little bit. We've got app mentions and likes and emails. App mentions I thought was going to be kind of corny when I first saw it coming out. I'm like, what is this, Facebook? Sorry, Gamer. And then when actually I started to like it. So as you're typing a message, if I do, hey, I'm going to add @Brian Day to this thread, in case you might have the answer to this question, it's going to do a couple of things. It's going to automatically add me to the to field. And it's also, when I then receive that message, I see the email come into Outlook, it also puts a big blue @ sign next to it, which then tells me, hey, somebody went out of their way to call you out in that message. They might be swearing at me, they might be asking me for something, but I know somebody mentioned my name specifically in that message using an @ mention. So then I can quickly say, oh, okay, I should probably open that up and see what's going on here. Because it might be from somebody I don't recognize, right? And they're not in my focus inbox because I don't work with them very often. But now that they've @ mentioned me, it's right there at the top when it comes in, and I know that I'm going to go check it out. All right, we already took a look at groups. Let's spin through there. Just general reasons to stay up to date. This is probably not news to you folks. Security fixes and time zone fixes. Countries are changing time zones more and more often, it seems. We've had countries change a time zone and then 9 months change it back. That was fun. So we're constantly pushing out updates, Exchange cumulative updates and roll-up updates to fix those. Does anybody remember the daylight savings period of time with Exchange 2003 and 7? How much fun that was? Yeah, that was awesome. So do yourself a favor, stay up to date, make sure your time zones are up to date so your users are not panicking. Your CEO doesn't miss a meeting because he thought it was an hour later and it's happening right now. We get those calls.